Adams, who was also dominant, especially protecting the rim. And part of that was because there wasn't Draymond there, so the Rockets were just going to the well. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes Draymond and his energy and, him getting after guys, and sometimes that works out. Tonight it almost hurt them, but luckily for Draymond and the Warriors, Jimmy Butler returned and really bailed them out.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about no Draymond allowed the Rockets to dominate there, especially in the paint. But I also feel like one of their recipes coming into this game had to be to not let Steph Curry beat you, because we definitely saw that in Game 3. But they managed to keep him at bay. But Jimmy Butler, he scored the final 7 points of this game, had himself a night. Brendan Podziemski, we have to put some respect on his name with his performance. But what did you just make of their contributions in this one?
Yeah, big effort from Podziemski because, like you said, Steph was fantastic in Game 3 with no Jimmy Butler, so you needed some extra scoring in Game 4 when all of a sudden the Rockets went back to, okay, Steph Curry, we really need to bottle him up, and they did a pretty good job of that tonight. He only went off for 17 points, but again, Podziemski was there. He had a block late. But Jimmy Butler coming back, Kiana, from an injury, he didn't get to play in Game 3. They thought he might. Didn't play, comes back in Game 4. He didn't look quite right to me. He didn't look like he was moving as fluidly as he generally does. Didn't matter. Plays 40 minutes, scores 27 points, 14 of them in the fourth quarter, and then he has that big rebound on the Alperen Şengün miss late in the game, and then he hits the big free throws to salt the game away. This is just another example of how much better and how much different these Warriors are when Jimmy Butler is on the floor. He can do so many different things, and on a night when Steph didn't necessarily have it going, here comes Jimmy Butler to be your secondary closer and help seal the game, and now they're up 3-1.
Absolutely, and you saw Jimmy Butler maybe having not looking like himself, at least in that first half, but really turning things up once this game hit the second half. But you have to be impressed, though, with the Rockets' efforts in this one. I mean, outside of their struggles at the line, what did you make of their play?
Yeah, I mean, if coming into this game, if you said to me that they were going to have a good shooting night after having an awful shooting night in Game 3, that would be a bonus, right? They shot almost 50% from the floor and almost 48% from 3. Now, they only took 23 attempts, but still, that's a great shooting night for a team that is not a very good shooting team. As you mentioned, they struggled at the line, though. But I would have said, okay, that's a good start. What else did they do? Well, they also dominated the points in the paint. That's fantastic. What about points off of turnovers? They had 20 of those. That's great. Then I would have said you need to get some consistent scoring from somebody somewhere, especially late. Well, you got it. You had Fred VanVleet scoring 25 points. Alperen Şengün had a double-double plus 5 assists. He was awesome. And then Amen Thompson was fantastic in the fourth quarter. Put all of that together, Kiana. If you had said on top of all that, Steph only won for 17, I would have said the Rockets got this game tonight. And still they couldn't get past the Warriors just because the muscle memory for the Warriors, getting Jimmy back, being there, being playoff tested, that kicked in, they win the game.
Yeah, but I just still can't get over it. You're 19 of 31 from the line. How much different this game could have potentially looked had we made some of those shots there. But you think about this performance that we did see coming from this Rockets team. They're on the road. They're playing in Golden State. They managed to keep Steph at bay. We talked about that despite that performance that we did see from the Warriors, especially down the stretch. But now as we start looking ahead to Game 5, what's the likelihood to come back being down 3-1 against this Warriors team?
I'd say pretty unlikely, right? They had it. If they were going to get one of the 2 games in Golden State, maybe now you have a shot. In Game 3, you think golden opportunity, right? No Jimmy Butler. This is going to be the one that they steal. Instead, you have a vintage Steph Curry game. Now, all of a sudden, Game 4 comes back. Jimmy Butler returns. Jimmy Butler's playing well, but Steph isn't playing well. Okay, and you're close, right? You're close late. It looks like you have a chance to steal it. But as you mentioned, they lose this game by 3. They were brutal at the free throw line. It doesn't matter that finally they had a good shooting night from the floor. Finally, they had a good shooting night from 3. When you miss that many free throws in a close game like this, that really takes away your chance to win, not just this game, but this series. Down 3-1 against a Warriors team that is playoff tested with Jimmy Butler, who's playoff Jimmy. Steph and Draymond have been there before. Steve Kerr knows what's up when managing these games. They were playing hack a Steve Adams late in the game to get him out of there. I would be shocked if the Warriors gave this one away. It looks like they're going to be moving on and probably potentially facing the Wolves in the next round.
Yeah, you look at this graphic right here. The Rockets free throw shooting and all of their losses. 44 of 75, 58.7%. Certainly not a winning recipe, especially when you are on the road and you are facing an experienced Warriors team. But as always, John Gonzalez dropping the knowledge on us. We appreciate the insight. Thank you so much. Well, should the Warriors handle Game 5? Well, that's going to be on Wednesday. They'll catch that one at 7:30 Eastern. But if the Rockets maybe can sneak one out and maybe extend this one, well, Game 6 will be Friday, Game 7 Sunday. We'll see how far this one goes. Warriors leading the series 3-1. In this series, it's a one-point game. Fred VanVleet shot no good, but man, Draymond Green with a crazy defensive stop. That's a Defensive Player of the Year finalist right there. We'll hear from Ime Udoka after the game.
It seemed like they had no answer for Alpi for a lot of that second half. What did you think of the execution on that final play after the timeout with him missing the shot against Draymond? It
was okay. I think Draymond shot the gap and kind of denied the catch. Tried to get a switch with Peyton, so we didn't get a great screen and kept the matchup, but got a decent look, but we got to screen better to get Alpi open at the spot we want him at.
You went with the double big lineup for a large portion tonight. Just how do you think that fared, and especially compared to the starting lineup, which seemed to have a rough start to both halves?
Yeah, they were great. They kept us in the game. Obviously, the start of the third quarter, 18-1 run, and just gave everything back that we did before in the halftime. And to be up 7 and go down 10 that quickly with some of the missed shots or whatever, nobody tries to miss shots, but the non-help off of certain guys, leaving shooters, and then just not rebounding. They beat us in the offensive glass, second chance points. So not a great start there. Double big was the reason we stayed in the game. Yeah, like I said, get some separation with the screens, but you have to come off and be aggressive. And tonight was a little more free than last game. And then you just have to make the right plays. And not his best night offensively, obviously, but you can't let that affect your all-around game. Still make the right play, make the right read, let guys be recipient, but you still have to guard at a high level and not get discouraged by off night offensively.
Alperen had obviously his best stretch with Draymond out of the game. Do you feel you have any route to efficient offense when Draymond is in the game, and what would that be?
Yeah, we got some looks and used his aggression against him and got him in foul trouble there. He's kind of roaming all over the place, and so make the right read, you'll get open looks off him, and so. I think Alpi was going well regardless. The plan was to go attack Green, and I think he did that, had some success there, and missed some easy shots early, but settled in there. So just continue to be aggressive there, and it doesn't matter who's on Alperen. We feel like we have an advantage every night.
Coach, can you talk about just what the locker room was like after the game, such a tough loss, and what's the mentality you guys have to try to keep this series alive?
Yeah, a little bit upset, of course. It feels like the games we've lost, we really hurt ourselves in a lot of ways. We get a late foul on a 3. Obviously, that stands out, but it's not just a play late in the game. It's all the things that add up to it. First half, fouling guys in the bonus, and those things, it's hard to outplay those mistakes.